Can somebody explain to me why these, and these kind of ads are allowed on YouTube? And why is it that while I'm watching my sermon, an ad pops and the very first thing I hear is, do you watch? What?
Oh, Jesus.
And at first, I thought it was an incident. You know, sometimes the algorithm gets weird and things happen. But no, I realized that I kept being exposed to that kind of content against my will. What I have seen so far is apps for virtual relationships with AI characters, as well as sexualized mobile games. What else? Oh, even more disturbing, ads with explicit content. But you know, what shocked me the most was not so much the existence of such content, but rather its normalization on a platform such as YouTube. And that naturally led me to reflect on the issue. And I started wondering what YouTube's intentions were, as well as the consequences of these decisions. But also, are we still, both children and adults, safe on this platform? But before diving deep, let's remember the good old days. Let's remember the old YouTube. Who remembers the old YouTube? I do. YouTube was created in 2005 by three guys, Steve, Jawed, and Chad. They had this brilliant idea because back in the day, people had troubles uploading, sending, or hosting videos online. And the first ever uploaded video was Me at the Zoo by Jawed Karim.
Alright, so here we are, one of the elephants. And the cool thing about these guys is that they have really long trunks.
A video with 19 million likes and nearly 400 million views. Okay, well done. In 2006, Google acquired YouTube for a total of $1.65 billion, paying it entirely in Google stocks. As Google grew the platform, the revenue needed to maintain it also grew, because hosting and streaming videos at a global scale is extremely expensive. And that's when ad appeared, because advertising allows the platform to generate enough revenue to pay content creators, cover infrastructure costs, and pay themselves while keeping the app free for viewers. Everything started in 2007 with in-video overlays. They did not call for much attention and could be closed with an X. From 2010 to 2018, TrueView ad appeared. They were less discreet than their predecessors, but were skippable after 5 seconds. A single ad became two, then a pair, before and after your video. And in 2012, mid-roll ads appeared. Many users were not happy at all. They started using ad blockers, but YouTube was able to detect them, and some users would receive messages like this one. They would also be prevented from playing videos until the ad blocker had been disabled. Despite the reasons why these measures were implemented, many users were still not happy, and they decided to post videos of themselves voicing their frustration.
Ads all the time. I don't want the American-Israeli flag pin. I don't.
YouTube! Stop playing and let me watch my RDC, bruh! Oh my god!
After the ad is done playing, it pops up on your screen in the little corner. It's really pissing me off.
But nowadays, this shit is ridiculous. Any YouTube video that you click today, it's 1 out of 2 ads. Non-skippable.
Alright, now let's see who has been around long enough to remember two of the most viral videos in YouTube history.
Her song is called Give Me More for a reason, because all you people want is more, 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 more! Leave her alone! You're lucky she even performed for you bastards! Leave Brittany alone!
Now, what about this one?
Oh, ouch! Ouch! Ouch, Charlie! Ouch!
A 56-second clip that ended up making the Davis Carr family millionaires. Yes, you heard that right. Millionaires. But let's refocus, because now is the time to dive deep into today's topic. Why are these ads allowed? Here's what I find puzzling. This platform imposes strict rules on its creators. Certain words have to be censored. Certain images can lead to demonetization. And yet, some users report being exposed to suggestive ads that seem to contradict those very same standards. How do we explain this situation? Are advertisers and creators subject to the same restrictions, or is there a difference in the way the two are treated? Earlier, I told you I had been questioning myself about YouTube's intentions. And to be honest, I still don't have an answer to that question. But beyond those intentions, what seems to be most important to me are the consequences, which are both clear and tangible. So, what happens when you constantly expose children, teenagers, and even adults to explicit content? I'll tell you. Well, you distort their perception of human relationships. You influence the way they see themselves and others. You shape unrealistic expectations about intimacy, and you normalize unhealthy behaviors. Yes, you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, stay with me because I'll come back to that in a moment. And I'm starting to think that maybe YouTube does not fully grasp the seriousness of the situation. But the impact is real and the consequences are already being felt. Just take a look around. Can you honestly say that you don't see a difference between today's children and those from previous generations?
I want to talk to y'all about this issue that we got going on. Why is it that when I pulled up at this school to drop my boys off, I see all these little girls out here looking like they're grown as hell?
And of course, many factors are at play. But one thing is undeniable. Today's children are growing in an environment saturated with content that previous generations would have rarely encountered at such a young age.
Sexualization of some female characters in anime actually makes them unwatchable. Just because they put sexual content in kid shows in the past doesn't mean it should continue or that it's right.
And teenagers are not being spared. They face the same issues as children. They are at a critical stage in their development. Adolescence is a period during which sexuality, identity, and relationships are still being shaped. Basically, it's a period where hormones are running high and curiosity is at its peak. It is also the age of first romantic relationships, a crucial stage where teenagers need support, guidance, and most importantly, accurate information. What they do not need is to be bombarded all day with explicit content that promotes unrealistic expectations when it comes to intimacy and consent. Numerous studies have been conducted, and the findings are all unanimous. This phenomenon is very dangerous. Teenagers are the men and women of tomorrow, and if we want them to be equipped to build healthy relationships once they reach adulthood, we must prepare them now, not tomorrow, not next year. Now, for the final part of this video, let's dive beneath the surface and uncover the part of the iceberg that often goes unseen. Because the story does not end with children and teenagers. And if you thought that adults were immune to this phenomenon, well, think again. And to prove it, let's take a look at the rising number of men and women who are so overwhelmed that they are now willing to share with us their personal struggles with lust on social media.
Lust is so dangerous.
One of my struggles was lust.
Struggling with lust.
Back into lust.
What I'm going to tell you now is backed by science. There is this thing called neuroplasticity. It is the brain's ability to rewire itself based on repeated input. The more you're exposed to lustful content, the more you reinforce and strengthen the neural pathways associated with it. In other terms, the harder it becomes for you to resist lustful thoughts and temptations in your daily life. Just type the word lust into a social media bar. You will find hundreds, if not thousands, of videos, different people, different backgrounds, and yet they all seem to be describing the same battle. And you want to know something? I'm no exception. Because for so many years, Lud had control over my life. I had to unfollow a lot of people and eventually ended up deleting all my social media except YouTube just to get away from certain content. And the very thing I was trying to escape ended up following me all the way to the last platform I had left, YouTube. Mind you, I go on YouTube for educational, motivational, or spiritual content. And yet, time and time again, while I was watching a sermon, for instance, I was interrupted by a sexually oriented ad. And I remember thinking, brother YouTube, what are you doing? I'm over here fighting for my life, praying, trying to rebuke the spirit of lust. And this is what you're going to put in front of me? And I guess I'm not the only one because look at these comments. They're saying exactly what I'm saying. This trouble is real, guys. Okay, but thank you so much for taking the time to watch today's video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. I see you in another video. Bye.